Let's rank some Pokemon, shall we? What's up, guys? My name is Sane, and, if you guys know, you know. I want to thank you all for being very supportive of me recently. Been radio silence, there's just been things going on, life stuff that's been going on, taking away my time, as well as I'm going on vacation soon, and Snug's also on vacation, so that'll explain why there's been less of the uploads for the Monologue versus series. Snug does all the editing for them. He deserves all the credit for them, really. I just played along. So go check out Snug's channel, and if you're looking for that monologue stuff, go check out his other runs he's been doing for more videos. And let's talk about some Gen 5. So I'm talking about mainly Black and White. Black and White 2, things change. There's different gyms, different boss fights, harder boss fights, I'd say. It's a harder game overall. And also old Pokemon come back, so you have to consider fighting those old Pokemon as well as, using them in your party. So things change a little bit. There's a couple Pokemon I'm not going to be ranking. So first one I'm not going to be ranking is, Zen mode Darmanitan. I'm just going to be ranking with normal Darmanitan. I've had a Zen mode Darmanitan before. I can't remember how I got it, but I had it. And I don't think it ever went into Zen mode, honestly, because Darmanitan's Darmanitan. Like, either it kills or it is killed, because it's just so squishy. And also, Zoroark is a gift Pokemon. So I'm just not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about gift Pokemon. And also all the legendaries are no-goes. Then I'm also not going to cover these not fully evolved Pokemon. And I'll talk about, these three separately. But these Pokemon, they're literally never able to evolve. And so they're never going to be on your team for longer than like one niche fight. They're clearly not good. Any other Pokemon that's fully evolved is going to be better than them. Like Maractus is honestly going to be better than like these things. Even with Eviolite, so... I guess, technically, I could be... They're not going to... Amanda Buzz with Eviolite's going to be better than, a Maractus, honestly. But I'm not going to talk about them. Just because they never evolve, I just don't think it's worth rating them, honestly. I don't think it's worth talking about them. And then also the Pokemon that evolve after the final level cap, which is 50. Technically, Getsis's level cap is 54. But that's one fight, and it's like the literal end of the game fight. And End's level cap is also 50. I think you should just level cap to 50, in my opinion. I mean, just to start the Elite Four. So you'd have to, fight through the Elite Four and evolve your Bisharp, Braviary, or Mandibuzz in the middle of the Elite Four. And I don't, why would you do that? Literally, why would you do that? I mean, these two are Dark types, so it's like, you could be like, okay, sure. And Hydreigon doesn't evolve till 60-something, so it's literally unobtainable in the main game, so it's pretty sad. So I'm just not going to talk about these guys. And then for the starters, I'm also going to talk about the monkey you also get with them, because, you basically you almost get two starters kind of thing. If you grab the monkey in the dream world instead of a Munna or whatever grass encounter that would be, you can guarantee another encounter, and you can guarantee two Pokemon with the same fire, water, grass core trio, typing that just the same as your starter. So you get guaranteed two Pokemon. It's usually for the best. There's one example where it's not for the best, and I'll talk about it. But I will talk about them together, but I still will be ranking them separately. I just wanted to section them out so it is clear. You still can catch the monkeys in the forest, I know. But it's a lower percent chance you might not get it. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the considering the monkey as the guaranteed one you could get in the Dream Yard. Dream Yard? Dream Garden? Dream Yard. Dream Yard. Yeah, it's called Dream Yard. Anyways, let's get into it, guys. Let us start off with Superior. Easy F. Grass and Psychic are really bad in this game. And Superior just doesn't do anything to help it out. Nothing. It's fast, but why? If it's weak and kind of bulky, I guess, but why? But Simipour has Scald at 22, and that's crazy. It evolves by Stone, too, so as soon as you can get your hands on a Water Stone, you can have a Scald at level 22, and that's really good. You get Taunt, you get things like Workup, you get, they got pretty good movesets. They have not the super most expansive moveset ever, but the monkeys all, they fill out a great moveset of 4 moves with Taunt, their stab move. You can get Fake Out, you can get Workup or something for them. Pretty solid moves. I think it's the best. I think Scald is this the best stab move. Honestly, the best stab move in the game, because you can burn. It's just crazy. Stab water, and there's not a lot of water types. You can guarantee some, but there's not a lot of them in the game, and it might be nice to stack up a couple of them, just because the ones you can guarantee might be frail, like Simipour, and also water types are just so valuable. So I think it's the best monkey, and I'm going to throw it in the B tier. I think it's pretty okay. Tepig, or Emboar, I guess. I think is the best starter, and it's going to go in the A tier. Firefighting's amazing offensive coverage. Fighting type is the best type in the region by far. Far and away. I mean, basically, N's entire team is weak to fighting, except for the Archaeops, which is neutral, but you're going to beat it anyways, and the legendary dragon he fights you with. Also, like, half of Getz's team is weak to fighting, plus you've got Grimsley in the Elite Four, the first 2 gyms, essentially, weak to fighting. Then you've also got, what else? You've got, you know, Clay, who's most of his team is weak to fighting, especially the Excadrill. You've got an Ice Gym. Yeah, fighting does fantastic in the region. And fire helps it out too. You also have Flame Charge, so you can boost your speed and start sweeping. I think it's the best starter by far. But you also get the worst monkey, who is like barely better than superior. And if you're picking Embor, don't grab your monkey. Don't grab Pansage. Go on the grass. Try to get a Muna or a Watchog. Honestly, they're gonna be better for you. And Samurott, I think, is also in the A tier. It's a bulky water type, good offenses, good move pool. I honestly recommend grabbing Samurott over Embor just because of the lack of water types, and also Simisear is also a good monkey. I think it's a little bit behind Simipour. I love how this is like a perfect cross right here. But I think as a starter, I recommend Samurott because you also get a good monkey, and you can just guarantee the start of your game to be very solid with these two, and like guarantee 2 strong Pokemon, strong encounters. But Embor as the starter is the best starter in my opinion, and it sits at the top of A tier. Next is Musharna. I think it's a C. It's okay. It's pretty bulky, but Psychic is just not good. I don't think it really does much amazing things. It's a fine support Pokemon that can hit decently hard. It's an early game Pokemon, but there's just so much dark types you have to fight with the enemy trainers, and Psychic doesn't help you in the Elite Four or against N or Getz's at all. They get pooped on. So yeah, I think it's a fine C tier. Watchog's another fine C tier. It's an early game Pokemon. It doesn't do anything special really. It's kind of lackluster compared to the beast you get early game. Now this is Intimidate Stoutland. Intimidate Stoutland is S tier. Intimidate is a fantastic ability. It's actually very bulky. It's not fast, but it's not slow. I think it's got a great speed tier. You're going to be outspeeding slower things. You're going to be outsped by faster things, but you're going to be outsped by like fast things regardless. So I think you've got a fine speed tier, great attack stat, good coverage overall with normal stab. You get Bite and Crunch pretty early. You also get like Fang coverage and stuff. It's so reliable. The early normal types can be all reliable, and this thing with Intimidate and the bulk and the stats, and it's a 3-stage evolution. It's ridiculous. You get Retaliate early on too for some great stab, especially if you have to sack something. You can do sack Retaliate plays, which is pretty solid. With Sandrush, it's probably A tier. Sandrush is still a usable ability. Just Intimidate Stoutland, amazing. I usually rank Pokemon based on like the height of their performance, like the peak they can be. You know, good nature, fine IVs. I don't really consider EVs. The best nature they can have, the best ability they can have as well, that they're gonna reasonably get. You know, not hidden abilities, but you know, Intimidate is not a hidden ability. You get it 50% of the time, so I'm gonna count it. Liepard is top of C tier. The dark typing is nice. Evolves really early too. It's just not special, I guess. Like it's not Mighty Anna with Intimidate for late game dark type. It's technically a little bit better offensively, but it's just so squishy. It's fine. I think it's probably the best early game Pokemon you're gonna get. That's not like your starter Monkey or Stoutland, but it's alright. It's serviceable. It's a dark type. It's pretty cool. Unfezant. I actually really like Unfezant. I think I'm gonna throw it in the B tier. It's a great user of Eviolite because you get Roost super early. You get like Taunt super early too. Feather Dance. You get some really good support moves really early. Super Luck is awesome with Air Cutter, even off pretty low special attack. I mean, you're not running off high physical attack either when you're like Tranquil and stuff. So Air Cutter's gonna hit pretty hard. Big Pex is a fine ability. I like it. I think it's more of a supportive early game flying type, which I don't hate actually. I really grew to like it. It became the MVP of my run. And which I did off camera. Sorry guys, but I just decided to finish the game off camera. And Unfezant was very, very nice. Zebstrika, electric types aren't that good either. Grass types are horrible, Psych types are horrible, but Electric is honestly not far off from just not being very useful in the region, like at all. You don't fight many water types. The ones you do, it's like Seismitoad, who's not weak to Electric anyways. It's okay. I'd probably put it right with Purloin. Early game, fast Pokemon, good early game sweeper, I guess. With a decently early evolution. It can get like Flame Charge, so it can have like fire coverage, which is pretty cool. So I'll probably put it at the top of C tier, but nothing special. Okay, Boldore and Gigalith. So this is the trait evolution. And I'm going to, honestly, I think these two are ranked the exact same. I'm going to put them both in A tier. Obviously, if you can trade, Gigalith is better because it's going to hit harder. But Boldore is probably bulkier with Eviolite. In the end, I mean, throwing like leftovers on Gigalith is going to make it stronger and I guess a little bit more bulky because you get the health recovery. But both are such early game carries. Early game rock types are great always. With a Roggenrola, you completely solo, and I mean completely solo, Lenora, who can be scary. It can be a scary first gym. You can solo Berg. Berg is easy, even though Leavanny has Razor Leaf, like, whatever. you can set up iron defenses on things like the Whirlipede and the Dwebble, who aren't hurting you for anything. You are also amazing for Elisa because those two Amoonguss suck, and they're only weak to Rock and Ice. So like you're just so good early game. Then obviously Clay comes in, and you're just like, oh god, it's scary. But then after Clay, you got Skyla, you got Bryson, your physical wall for Drayden. Like you're just good against every single gym ever. Then for the Elite Four, you're just a physical wall against N and Getsus. You're just a physical wall. Nothing special for you, but nothing bad. I think it's just the early game carry. Against all the gyms. It's so good. I'm going to throw it above the starters. I'm going to be completely honest. I think it's better than the starters. I think it's so good. Such a hard carry early game. Swoobat's so bad. Without Simple, it doesn't do anything. It's so weak. Psychic Flying like isn't that good of typing. I feel like you're just weak to so much. Psychic type sucks in this region. And yeah, Flying type doesn't really help it. It's just really bad. It's so weak. Excadrill, easy S tier Pokemon. It is so ridiculous when you get it. You can get it. You can guarantee a Drillbur early if you don't want to go for the Roggenrola. So basically, in the first cave you go into, you can 50-50 for a Roggenrola or a Swoobat. It's not 50-50, but you can roll for Roggenrola or a Swoobat, or you can just go into a Dust Cloud and grab a Drillbur. And Drillbur itself is not amazing, but when you can evolve into Excadrill, Steel typing just gives you such good defensive pivots. You're also got Ground, which is a solid defensive pivot, and then fantastic offensive typing. You're so fast. You're so strong. You're moderately fast. Even if you get Sand Rush, you're really fast. But I think you're going to have Mold Breaker, actually. Let me double check this while I talk about it. But yeah, Excadrill, it's such a crazy offensive Pokemon. It's such a hard carry too. Like if you get this thing, it's always on your team. It's always hitting stupid hard. Steel typing just walls the entire gym too, or the entire gym line and the end game. Yeah, 135 attack is so crazy, so crazy, and it's either Sand Rush or Sand Force, both of which are good. Teaches Sandstorm. There you go. Good games, good games. I'm gonna keep it below Statland just because Statland's better for longer, I think. Like, Statland's going to carry you early game, but then Excadrill is an end game Pokemon, and it's like not even end game Pokemon. It's like halfway through the game and then later. It's so good. Also, one of the coolest design Pokemon ever. Audino is also coming up to the A tier. It's such a good pivot Pokemon. It's so bulky. You can basically guarantee it early too, which you should. Sacrifice any of your grass routes to get Audino. It's so bulky. Normal stat means it's gonna do more damage than most of your Pokemon early game when they're unevolved, just because it's fully evolved at that point. If you get Regenerator, oh yeah, physical bulky pivot with Regenerator, who also has support moves, like absolutely A tier. If you don't get Regenerator, it's probably B tier, but like the top of B tier, honestly, still might be A tier. It's such a good Pokemon. It's such a good pivot. It's such a reliable pivot. It's so reliable. This thing is crazy good. Timber and Conkeldurr. Another trait evolution. So I'm going to put Timber at the top of B tier, because with Eviolite, you're going to be bulkier than Conkeldurr. And because of Guts, you can still make yourself hit really, really hard. Not as hard as Conkeldurr will hit, but still hit really hard with Guts or with Sheer Force. Both abilities are fantastic. You can abuse both of them. But Conkeldurr, it's going to hit so much harder. Fighting typing so amazing. It's going to come up here. I'm probably going to put it above Emboar, honestly. It's just Machampa better. It's literally just Machampa better. Sheer Force and Guts are such good abilities. It's still bulky. It's not as bulky as Timber with Eviolite, but it's still bulky. You can put other items on it too. Yeah, Fighting type's the best type in the region. It could honestly go to the top of A tier. I'm just going to leave it here for now. I think it's fine. Seismitoad. So you fight like 4 grass types? Like 3 grass types? I counted it out, and I counted there was only 6 legitimately scary grass-type moves you ever encounter from boss fights. So in boss fights, I mean Gym Leaders, Elite Four, N and Getsus. There's like 6 to 8 grass-type moves. That's it. So you essentially don't have a weakness for the entire game. This thing can have Swift Swim, Water, Ground typing so good. I don't see how this is not an S-tier counter. Don't see it. Best water type you can get. By far. Throw and Sawk. So Throw is... I think Throw is honestly worse than Timber. Because with Eevee, they're about the same strength. And they're almost somewhat similar bulk-wise. Even with Timber, with Eviolite. But... I mean, like, what are you going to throw that, like, end game? What are you putting the Eviolite on anyways, besides a Timber if you can't evolve it because of trade? So I think it's like you're not missing and stuff, and you're going to be bulky. You're going to be overall a little bit more bulky than Throw. And if you can evolve your Timber, then Conkeldurr's way better. So, like, if you got a Timber, then I guess this thing's not called Timber. I can't remember the smell evolution. Whatever. Whatever. This guy. You know what I'm talking about. That dude. But yeah, if you get him, there's no reason to use Throw if you got it. But if you didn't get it and you got Throw as a fighting type, it's still a very serviceable fighting type. It can have Guts, which is great ability. Fantastic. Yeah, Guts is one of the best abilities ever. So I think probably solid B tier. Sawk. I have a new appreciation for Sawk, as it was another high tier MVP of my run. I think the run I did, the ultimate MVP was Unpheasant became the ultimate MVP, but Audino and Sawk, these 3 carried the entire game. So Sawk also will carry Lenora. It can have Sturdy, which actually works in this generation now, so it's pretty cool. But it's fast and it has 125 physical attack, and that's just good. Fast fighting type is solid. It's got some decent bulk to it, and again, Sturdy will save you. It saved me once, and during my run. I can't remember what move it was. I think it was a crit. Saved me from a crit. I lived at full HP. Or at 1 HP. From full. And yeah, it's a nice fighting type. It's not the best. I think it's not the best fighting type. It's not the worst fighting type. I think I'd still put it in A tier though. Just being fast and 125 attack at that early point in the game is crazy good. Leavanny is probably the best grass type, because the bug typing also helps. It helps you take on like the dark types and stuff, and the psychic types that you might fight in the end game, like from Getsus and Elite Four. And learn Swords Dance by level up 2. Grass bug is not. I don't think it's the worst typing ever. Like people competitively will say, "Oh yeah, you have quad weakness to flying and fire." Oh gosh, whatever. Like whatever. Just look up the game. If you're playing blind and you get hit by random fire or flying coverage, then like sure it sucks. But you can also just watch for that stuff. It's like same thing with Seismitoad. It's like, oh, it has a quad weakness, but like you can just watch out for it. And there you go. And things that aren't fire or flying type, Leavanny does really good against. And it's like the only grass type that is very, very good. I mean, there's 2 more. We'll talk about that later. Scolipede, without speed boost, does just like nothing. It just doesn't do anything. It's like it's not threatening offensively. It's not dealing a ton of damage. It's a very lackluster Pokemon, and I'm just gonna throw it in C tier with the rest of these guys. It could be here within this ordering. I don't know. Competitively, it should be really good, but like it just doesn't get everything in game, like in a gameplay, in a game through, playthrough, game, words, sadness. Next, Whimsicott with Prankster, and also just a speed stat puts it in the B tier as a very, very good support Pokemon. Even though it is monograss, which just it's kind of okay that it is monograss, because just the support role it plays with Prankster and the things it can do are so interesting. Even without Prankster, it's still really fast, so it can still do most of the things you need it to do, and just be a good support Pokemon with like Tailwind, Leech Seed, Screens, or something. You know, however you want to build it. I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's as good as the offensive grass types that are also in this tier, which the second one would be Lilligant, who can have own tempo, Petal Dance, and Quiver Dance. Is it Quiver Dance, I believe? Yeah, I can get Quiver Dance, which is pretty crazy. So it technically can sweep, but it's like you're resisted by everything, so you're sweeping with non-stab, which makes it not as scary as it should be. But you can still like heal things off with like a Synthesis or a Giga Drain, so you could be really scary. You can be. You have the potential to be very scary. I love Lilligant, don't get me wrong. Some people are like, A tier, S tier, it does all this crazy stuff. I'm like, yeah, but it's just resisted, and it's hard to set it up, honestly, with just how bad the type is in the region. But it can be. It can be really good. It can be. So it goes in the B tier. I still think Leavanny is a little bit more consistent, though, just because bug stab and stuff. Basculin can have adaptability or reckless, I believe. Let me double check while I talk about this. But this thing is one of the few water types I believe you can guarantee if you just fish on one of the routes. Just hold off from the grass and fish. And yeah, you can get adaptability, and it's either reckless or rockhead, depending on if you're blue or red striped. And both of those are actually pretty okay. Means like double edge will be hitting pretty hard, but if you can get adaptability, which is what I'm going to rank off of because it's a better ability, which you can get. Adaptability like Aqua Jet, Waterfall, things like that. Adaptability, Stab Water, you're going to be hitting so hard. It's also got fine special attack, so you can still do like adaptability Surf, stuff like that. You do get moves like Double Edge 36, which is not too bad. Does Chip Away to recoil? I can't remember. I cannot remember. I don't think so. You get takedown early. That's what it is. You get takedown pretty early, so your Rockhead or your Reckless is still going to do some good damage with takedown. But yeah, stab, adaptability, Aqua Jets hitting really hard. Honestly, you're a really good offensive water type. So I think you're definitely better. Where did I put you? Where'd you go? Better than Simipour by a little bit. I think by a little bit. Just because I think you're a little bit better offensive stats. I'm going to put you at the bottom of A tier. I think that feels good for me. Bottom of A tier, maybe top of B. Something like this. Maybe top. Adaptability is so crazy. I'm going to put it at the bottom of A tier. Adaptability can be so strong. Krookodile, Intimidate, and Moxie are broken. Dark typing's really good for this region. Ground typing's really good. Ground and Dark offensively is really good. You're a monster. Monster Pokemon. Moxie can just carry you. Intimidate can make you really good pivot. Really good defensively and bulky. And yeah, it's so good. Such a good Pokemon. Absolutely ridiculous. Darmanitan. So people are going to want me to put it S tier. But I'm not going to. Because I don't think the fire typing is quite that good to be in the S tier. And also, this thing is kind of hard to use because of Hustle Darumaka. It might just miss. And you don't really want to keep it boxed because it's one of the hardest hitting things. So you want to put it in your party because it's going to help you out. So if you would have to box it until it can be a Darmanitan, I feel like that's some points against it. Even though I kind of doing that with Drillbur, Drillbur is fine. It's a very serviceable Pokemon at early game. It's not S tier level, but evolves into S tier. Well, Darumaka, I don't think is an S tier Pokemon, and I think Darmanitan, I think all of it balances out into A tier. I think this thing's just too squishy. It's all offense, no defense, which all of these Pokemon up here can be offense and defense. And in Nuzlocke's, defense is really important because you can't safely switch things. You have to just switch in the middle of a move, basically. You have to switch into a move. You can't just safely switch. You have to pivot your Pokemon around because you can't heal with items and stuff. So you have to be careful with defensive abilities. You want to carry defensive Pokemon on your team. That's why Pokemon like Audino are really useful as just being pivots, because you can safely pivot with that thing, scout another move, and then pivot into something else, or help yourself out, help your team out with whatever that bulky Pokemon is. And Darmanitan has none of it can do. And so if you can't be any way, shape, or form defensively useful, you have to be so good offensively, and I don't think it's quite as good offensively to be S tier, but it's still up here in A tier. I'd probably put it like here. Put it like up. I'll put it like around here, like around Emboar. Honestly, it might be. I'll keep it above Emboar, just because it's already so fast. You don't have to set up Flame Charge or anything. It's already so good. Maractus, I don't. It's another grass type that does nothing. Crustle. This thing can have Shell Smash, which is pretty cool. Bug Rock's pretty good typing. I actually like it a lot. It can also have Shell Armor, which is really cool. There's another ability on it. I cannot remember what is it. Is it Weak Armor? No, it's Sturdy. Okay. Yeah, so Sturdy, usable. Shell Armor, really good. Bug Rock typing is really solid. It's an amazing physical tank. It's a somewhat early game Rock type, which is useful. Although it's not as useful as Boldore, just because it's not resisting flying, which is one of the main types you want to hit early. But Rock Polish early on, early Stealth Rocks is all really cool. You get Shell Smash, not too late. Rock Slide and X Scissor for stab. You got great stab. Yeah, you've got a great moveset. I think I'm leaning top of A, top of B, bottom of A. And I think just because it could be so reliable with Shell Armor, level 34 evolution isn't too bad either, I believe. Let me check Skyla. Are you fully evolved for Skyla? You are. Okay, so I think yeah. I'm gonna throw it top of B tier. Top of B tier, yeah. Not quite as impressive as these guys, but very solid Pokemon. Really good. If you get it, use it. It's very serviceable. Scrafty. This thing can also have Moxie. I believe this thing is just like Krookodile, which also has Intimidate and Moxie. No, it's Shed Skin or Moxie. No Intimidate. Okay, so Shed Skin, whatever. But Moxie, that can be so good. The level 39 evolution hurts a little bit, but still like a Moxie Scraggy. So useful. Dark Fighting typing is so good. So good for the Elite Four in the end game and fighting, and I could almost put this thing S tier, but I'm gonna put it at the tip top of A tier, I think. I think at the very tip top of A tier. Because it's not incredibly scary offensively, and it's not like the most amazing thing. It's got great defenses. It's got okay attack. It's pretty slow though, so it's gonna be taking attacks. And you kind of need Drain Punch on it or something. It's gonna be using Payback really well. It can get Scary Face too. It gets High Jump Kick pretty early, so it's got some amazing stab. I think it's not quite S tier, but it can definitely just start snowballing with Moxie and get really good. So it's probably A tier. I could almost put it here. I'm so close. If I had an A+, I could put an A+ just for Scraggy. Just for Scrafty. It's that useful. Its typing is that good. Sigilyph is the only Psychic type that does something useful, and it's got a good supported moveset with Tailwind and Screens, and can learn Cosmic Power and stuff. So it's pretty okay. It also doesn't have to evolve, so that's neat. It's pretty neat, I guess. Cofagrigus. This thing is Dusclops, but a little bit better. It's like a Dusclops. It's not Dusclops with Eviolite. It's better than Dusclops if it doesn't get Eviolite. If Dusclops get Eviolite, obviously it's better than Cofagrigus, but Cofagrigus is really bulky. It's got great special attacks, a fine special attack stat, so you can use it offensively somewhat. It's another one of these pivot Pokemon. I'm gonna put it right next to Audino. These pivot Pokemon, man, they're so useful. And Ghost typing is a great defensive typing, as well as a solid offensive typing. It's just a good typing in general. Like things like Will-O-Wisp, Curse, Confuse Ray can be really, really useful. Shadow Ball is great stab, payback, things like that. Very useful. So Carracosta, I don't hate this thing at all. Solid Rock is a really good ability, and it can get Shell Smash. I don't know if I want to put it A tier, or if I want to put it near the top of B tier. I think I am going to put it in the A tier. I think this thing can be really good. I haven't really been able to use it a ton. I remember using it before, and even without Shell Smash, and it was just good. I mean, Water Rock is fine typing. Again, there's not a lot of grass types. You're so special. You're so physically tanky. And your attack is very great, so you've got a good stat to use, like stab, rock type moves. So like your stab, rock slide later, so stab, smackdown for a little while. You got Aqua Tail. Getting Curse and Shell Smash. Honestly, you could use Curse and Shell Smash together. Like both of them are so good. You have a fine special attacking stat too, so you can still run special set on it if you want to. I think it's. I'm gonna go top of A tier next to Crustle too. I think it's really solid. It's not quite immediate as Basculin, so I think Basculin's just a little bit better. Just a little bit better, just because of the immediacy and overall better power, just off the bat. But it's really solid. It's a great fossil if you want to use it. But Archaeops, I don't care about Defeatist. I don't. If you get into Defeatist range, switch out. If you get into Defeatist range, you're about to get killed anyways, so switch out. Like in a Nuzlocke, you're going to be switching out when you're in that health range anyways, and it's so freaking crazy good offensively. It's so strong. It's so fast. And you have acrobatics in flying. You have flying gem acrobatics. Like holy, so good. Easy S tier. Garbodor is honestly kind of like one of these two Pokemon, but I don't think it's quite as good of a pivot as these guys. So I'm gonna throw it like right here next to Unpheasant and B tier. I think it's solid. Stench is a really cool ability. You're not too slow, so you can actually utilize it. Stench basically just means you can sometimes flinch on random moves, just because you just think on random contact moves. So, hey, that's pretty neat. You know, that could be pretty cool. You're not too fast, so you can't use it all the time. So I'm not going to put it too high in your favor, but I think it's a pretty alright defensive. It's a pretty alright supportive Pokemon. Or a pretty alright pivot Pokemon. It can get like stockpile and stuff. This thing is like your only Encore Pokemon, and that alone puts in the A tier. Plus Technician and its speed and pretty good attack stat means it's actually gonna be able to do some good damage as well. So this thing, absolutely use it. Encore alone puts it in the A tier, at least in the A tier. Probably like here. Yeah. Let me move these guys like that. There we go. I like that. Gothitelle. Shadow Tag is very uninteresting. This whole thing is just very uninteresting. It's worse than Musharna, but it's at least kind of bulky, I guess. It's a C tier. Yeah, it's a very lackluster Pokemon. Reuniclus has a very high special attack stat, so it can be used very well offensively. Like very, very well offensively. Even when it's a Duosion, it still has a really good... How do I spell this thing? Even when it's Duosion, yeah, it has like 125 special attack, I think. So even though it evolves a level 41, like you're hitting really hard. I'm pretty sure Duosion actually has the same special attack stat as Reuniclus. It does. It's really squishy, but you have EV Lights, which will help. So honestly, I think you just keep it a Duosion and keep the Eviolite on it. Why not? And it can be an okay supportive Pokemon that can also hit really hard. It does have Recover too, which is great. So I'm going to put it in the B tier. I don't really know where. I think behind the grass types, honestly. I think here is fine. I think there's fine. It can be pretty good. Also, the Pain Split's really cool too. Yeah, it's alright. Swanna. Flying Water is very solid. I like it a lot. It's not the best stat Pokemon. Not the best Pokemon stat-wise, so I don't think it's the greatest thing ever. But it's very reliable. You guarantee this thing. Flying Water is great typing. You can teach it Ice Beam too. It's a pretty good sweeper. Yeah, I like it. I don't hate it. Nothing bad about it. You guarantee it, so use it. Literally, you guarantee it, so just use it every time. Vanillux. I actually don't hate the ice types because when you get them, you go right into... You get them like flying, ice, and dragon gyms, which they're good against all three. And even against like the Elite Four in the end game, you've got some scary dragons to fight with like Hydreigon and Zekrom. Not Reshiram, but Zekrom. So ice typing can be pretty solid. It just helps against a couple gyms. I think it's maybe a B tier Pokemon. Yeah. I think just the ice types in general at that point are just, moderately useful. That's kind of, they're all just moderately useful. I guess, why not use them? Why does Vanillix evolve so late though? So using Vanillish, but you have Eviolite, so it's like you're not really punished for using it. It's gonna be pretty bulky. 80 special attack's not that great. I guess I'll throw at the top of C tier. Yeah, throw at the top of C tier. Sawsbuck is not bad. Has a chlorophyll, which is cool. Stab normal type moves and like jump kick can be really good. Horn Leech is a really good stab grasp move. I think it's C tier or B tier. Maybe I think I want to put it at C tier. Honestly, I don't think it's quite on the level as the other grass types. It's a solid C tier Pokemon. It's one of the better grass types, but it's still just a grass type. And like the normal type doesn't help it too much. It just gives it more dude than these guys. So yeah, put it like here. Emolga, electric. Flying is really good typing. You are super fast. You have Volt Switch, which is such a good move, and so good for pivoting, because you can Volt Switch and bait a move, like bait a rock type attack into your flying type, and then switch into a fighting type, or switch into a rock type or a steel type or something to resist it. Just gives you amazing pivots, and yeah, 103 speed. You're fast. It's not the most effective offensive Pokemon, but Acrobatics is good enough. Acrobatics is going to be fine. Stab. Electro Ball is great too, because it doesn't really matter how strong your special attack is when you're just super fast. So yeah, there you go. It's also one of the few Pokemon that gets Encore. Late game Encore, but it does get Encore. I think it's a B tier. For like top of B tier. But yeah, you can get screens. You do learn Volt Switch by level up, but you're going to teach it Volt Switch earlier. Volt Switch Acrobatics, Encore, great moveset. Can't really argue with it. Scavalier, Bug Steel, broken. Sing super bulky. Sing hits really hard. Bug Steel just completely poops on the end game. Like holy crap. Like holy crap. Like holy guacamole, holy crap. I'm going to count to you the amount of Fire-type moves you're going to fight in the Elite Four. Because there is no Fire-type gym leader, and you're not going... Okay, so here's Fire-type moves in the game. You're not going to have it by this time, but the Zebstrika does have Flame Charge, so you're not going to have it by that, so who cares? Let's see, another Fire-type move, nothing in the gyms, nothing for Drayden. Let's search here, Chantal. Let's see, oh, here's a Fire-type move on the Chandelure. Okay. Play around it. Let's look for another fire-type move. Let's see here. No fire-type moves against Grimsley, and you're going to absolutely dunk on Grimsley. Let's look at Caitlyn. Oh, are there any fire-type moves on Caitlyn? Nope, doesn't look like it. Looks like you're going to dump on Caitlyn. What about Marshall? That seems like an even matchup. Do you got any fire-type moves here? Nope. You're really bulky, and you're hitting stupid hard. Yeah, you're clapping the Elite Four. You literally clap 2 of the Elite Four members, and you're fine against the other 2. And then let's take a look at N. N, Pokemon that's weak to rock, or Pokemon that's weak to steel, Pokemon that's weak to steel, Pokemon that's weak to bug, Pokemon that is neutral to steel, I guess. And then the Dragon, which here's a fire-type move. Only if you're playing whites, where you fight the Reshiram. There's a fire-type move, and I guess the Zoroark also has flamethrowers, so you have to be careful, I guess. Damage the Zoroark first, before a flamethrower is you, or just kill the Zoroark first. There you go. Congrats. It's good against the rest of the team. Let's take a look at Getsis. Cofagrigus. You're not touching my boy. How about Bouffalant? Not doing a lot of damage to you. Let's see, is Seismitoad doing a ton of damage to you? Nope, not really. Oh, here's some fire-type moves on the Electros and the Hydreigon. There you go. There you go. There's a couple fire type moves. Let's see, Bisharp. Oh, you're losing. See, Seismitoads. You know, you can scrap back and forth with the thing. Oh, you're gonna wall out the Bouffalont pretty well. That's pretty cool. Let's say Hydreigon. How are you gonna take a stab X Scissor from this thing? Not very well. Cool. Got it. S tier. Put it like here. Amoonguss is dog poop. Amoonguss is dog poop. You don't even get Spore till like 60 something. You don't even get Spore. You have to hold off. So here's the funny thing: if you want Spore, you have to hold off Fungus to level 50. Which, what are we talking about 50 for? Like, remember what we're talking about with 50? This thing essentially becomes what? This thing essentially becomes an Elite Four Pokemon with only Spore, with bad typing for the Elite Four, and nothing else to use. Are you really that desperate for Spore? Are you really that desperate for Spore? No, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. No, you come on. Like, come on. No, it's not that good. Okay? It's not. It's not. It's not, okay? It's not. Don't. Just do yourself a favor. Don't use this thing. It's bad. It's a nightmare and competitive, but it's bad. Jellicent. A tier. Bulky water type. It's also a ghost type, so it's very good offense defensively. Can have things like water absorb. Can also have curse body, which is fine. Yeah, water absorbs the better ability there, but curse body can be pretty clutch here, so here and there. It's bulky, you can get water spout pretty late, but stab water, stab ghost, you're not really hitting through that. You can learn some grass type moves too, like energy ball to hit other water types too, which is just so cool. Yeah, this thing is so reliable, so good. Another MVP of my run, we'll say that. Jellicent, love it. Love this Pokemon. Could almost put it in S tier just because you can guarantee it. I can't remember which route it is. I think it's just fishing later on. You can just guarantee this thing by fishing and grabbing Basculin, then you get it. Or I think it's actually at 100% catch rate, either surfing or fishing somewhere. I can't remember, but yeah, it's super good. Someone put it like here. Lomomola is a bulky water type that does like literally nothing though. It's going in the C tier. It's a bulky water type, but it's just so weak. It doesn't really do anything for you. Like, literally just doesn't do anything. But it is a water type. So there you go. Galvantula is almost S tier. This thing, Compound Ice Thunder, hits so hard. Bug typing's great. It's fast. It does a lot of damage. It's fast. It's got interesting typing that's not horrible defensively, so it can still be used as a pretty okay pivot. Bug is just really good for the Elite Four. Bug is honestly a really good type in this generation. In this game. Yeah, it's a really good type, and I like it a lot. I think easy A tier. Compound Ice Thunder just hits so hard. Ferrothorn. Good luck killing a Ferrothorn. That's not a fire type move. Remember all this fire type move we talk about with Excadrill? Yeah, take all those. Worry about Ferrothorn with that. I guess you kind of have to worry about fighting type attacks too. I guess a little bit. Like Focus Blast? Sure, yeah, whatever. Still S tier. I don't know why anyone's going to argue with me that. So this thing can get a Steel type Dragon Dance, but not really till the end game, so that's kind of sad. But it's still Steel type. It's still got pretty okay offenses, or defensive typing, and pretty okay offenses. It gets Autotomize, so it can double its speed, which is cool. It evolves kind of late, but I mean an Eviolite on the middle level on Clank. Eviolite Clank with Autotomize is very, very good. Throw it near the top of A tier. I could almost put this thing in S tier, I'm going to be completely honest. I could, if you could get Gear Shift earlier, which is the Steel type Dragon Dance, I would put it in S tier. But because you don't get that, it's going to stay down here in the A tier. I'm going to put it like right here, I think. It's a really good Pokemon. Electros is another Pokemon that does not have any defenses, any weaknesses, because it is Electric type with Levitate, and that's really, really cool. And offensively, it's very solid. It's not the best defensively though, so you don't really do a lot with your not having weaknesses. But I think it's still just reliable. You get a lot of coverage. You can get a lot of coverage on this thing. It can be very just reliable. Yeah. I think just its reliability puts it in the top of B tier. I could almost throw it in A tier, but I think I want to separate it from, you know, these other Pokemon that are just better. Behemoth, like Behemoth, like late game Psychic type, like it's just these guys but worse. Like why? Why? What? What do you... What? If you're struggling so hard to find something for Marshall, then I guess. Like, I guess. Sure. Chandelure. Amazing Pokemon. Fire typing's solid. The Ghost type. Fire and Ghost is such good offensively. It's so strong. It's actually not even slow either, which is really cool. But it can use Trick Room if you want to build like a Trick Room way. But 80 speed, it's very solid. It's pretty bulky too. It hits so hard. 145, it hits so hard. So hard. Oh my gosh. 145 special attack, that's ridiculous. I have yet to find a Pokemon that is more ridiculous offensively than Haxorus. I really think so. Another MVP of my run, by the way. I should tell you guys my final team. My final team was, what was it? I think it was Audino. I think I honestly had Unpheasant in the end game. Sawk. I had Haxorus. So that's what I had. I had Jellicent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I had a Dark type. Who was my Dark type that I had? I cannot remember who my Dark type was. I think it was... Not Krookodile. I think it was... I can't remember. I cannot remember who my Dark type was. I think it was Scrafty. I think, yeah, it was the Shedskin Scrafty, but I still took it and it was carried me. So yeah, that was my team. Yeah, let's move on. Beartic. It's not F tier, I guess. It's just like barely not F tier. And I mean barely not F tier. So this thing, it can hit hard. It can hit hard. Snowcloak or Slush Rush, like you give it. Hopefully you have Slush Rush. It's got some decent bulk to it. I'll give it that. It hits a lot harder in later generations because they give it a lot more special physical attack, but like 110 is still fine. And you do get Icicle Crash at 37, so by the time you're fighting like Drayden, it's hitting pretty hard, I guess. You can get Aqua Jet too, which is pretty cool, I guess. Ice typing is just so, like, it's bulky, but it's Ice type. But Ice typing is fine for the region, so I'll put it with like Vanillix. I think it just evolves 37 too. So it's the same thing. It's like you're basically using Cubchoo for like Skyla, which is when you'd want to use them. And Cubchoo is just nothing. Nothing. Yeah, it's oof. I don't think they're useful. They're moderately useful, so they're like the top of C tier, I guess. But Cryogonal is a very good Ice type. Actually, this thing is one of the best Ice types I think I've seen in any Pokemon game ever. So 105 speed, great. 95 special attack, great. 30 defense. Okay, don't let it fight physical attackers. 135 special defense. Let this thing fight special attackers. It is a crazy wall. Crazy wall. It's fast, and a fast Ice type with like a fast stab Ice Beam at 33. Give it Acid Armor. Give it Light Screen and Reflect, specifically with Reflect. Recover at 49 and Confuse Ray even later on, so it's got more supportive things it can do. Solar Beam at 53 for some reason. I don't know why. But Stab Ice Beam pretty early. Fantastic. Good moveset. Very good moveset. You're basically running Ice Beam and then support moves. Like Ice Beam, Screens, Acid Armor. And now you're no longer physically frail. There you go. Problem solved. There you guys go. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, this thing's one of the best Ice types ever, and I actually really like it. I actually really liked it. I think I'd put it here. Right? I thought it was very solid Pokemon. It was a lot of fun to use. I think I was going to take it in my Elite Four team just for like Hydreigon and stuff, but I decided against it for Unpheasant. Honestly, Unpheasant took its place in my final team with Feather Dance and Roost and Taunt. And Fly. Which worked out. Worked out very well. Excelgor. And the bug typing is great. The bug typing is great. It's too frail to be super amazing. It's definitely worse than Leavanny. Honestly, Leavanny could almost be A tier. But I think I'm going to put it like here. It's not the most... if it hit harder, I think. It's kind of like Ninjask. And it's... Or no, it's like Electrode. I think of this thing kind of like I think of Electrode. In that it's too fast for its own good. That like you're outspeeding everything, but like with less speed, you're outspeeding everything. Like Amoonguss like 103 speed, and you're still outspeeding like pretty much everything. So you're kind of just wasting points in speed, and so your special attack, which is 100, which is fine, it's just not that amazing. It's fine. It's very serviceable. You get like Giga Drain too, which is cool. U-turn, stab U-turn off of like 70 attack, I think it is. Yeah, 70 attack is not too weak. You do get recover late. You get agility for some reason. It's just like, why? You don't get bug buzz till 44, and I think that really hurts. So you're running with struggle bug forever, so you just don't have good stab. You just don't have like, yeah, you do not have good stab at all. It's U-turn. You basically are running U-turn like Giga Drain. I think that hurts. I think that hurts a lot. But you can take it to the Elite Four and be pretty solid with just bug buzz. So I think it's a B tier Pokemon. I think it's fair. I think it's about fair. I'll put it like here. There we go. Sure. Let's see who's next. Stunfisk. I tried. No, I don't. This is a C tier Pokemon. I tried to give it something. Mienshao. This thing is so good. This thing with Regenerator is so good. You're so fast. You're so okay. S tier. So this is an example of an offensive Pokemon that is so good, but it is also defensive because you have Regenerators, so you can switch out and heal yourself. So even if you're missing high jump kicks or something, and give a U-turn, teach a U-turn. Oh, this thing's crazy. It's so fast. It's so strong. It's so fun to use too. This thing has honestly become one of my favorite fighting types because it's so fun to use. Inner Focus is okay. Regenerator is what you want. It doesn't evolve to level 50, but I mean, Mienfoo is pretty okay. Because you can still have Regenerate on Mienfoo. And then you give it the Eviolite, and 85 attack is fine. So you give it Eviolite, you get Regenerated, so it's actually bulky now because of Regenerated Eviolite. So, like, it's very serviceable for a while. And it learns U-turn by level up, I think. Actually. Yeah, it learns U-turn by level up at level 41. It's crazy. You have Jump Kick early. You get Drain Punch, too, to heal yourself. You can learn Calm Mind for some reason. Fake Out is great. You get... Yeah, this thing is good. Like, Mienfoo is better than you would think he would be for an unevolved Pokemon at that point. And then Mienshao is one of the best Elite Four Pokemon by far. With, yeah, Jump Kick, which is 100 base power in this generation. Jump Kick, U-turn, Drain Punch, Fake Out. Like, what more do you need? So good. So good. You can even use Bounce at that point if you insist. So good. This is so good. This thing, yeah. Get up there and S tier you. So good. Druddigon. It's a Dragon type. It's not too slow. It's not too bulky. Or it's not too slow. It's decently bulky. I think it's a very solid Pokemon. It's got fine. It's gonna hit pretty hard. It's gonna be pretty bulky. Dragon type's pretty solid overall. Not spectacular. Not bad. I think it's a solid B tier. Probably below Electros. Probably like here. Golurk. This thing just comes with so many immunities. Iron Fist, the power of Shadow Punch is great. Even though you're only powering up Shadow Punch, just powering up Shadow Punch even more is fine because like you have Shadow Punch and Earthquake as your stab moves. It can learn Fly, which is just hilarious. But this thing, it's bulky. It's got great typing. Great typing. Level 43 evolution's not too bad, honestly. And because you're getting it around the level cap anyways. You learn Iron Defense. Why? Why do you learn Iron Defense? Earthquake by level up. You get Dynamic Punch. So if you really want to go for it, you can Dynamic Punch and try to get Iron Fist Dynamic Punch and just blow things up. Mega Punch too. So Iron Fist helps. I mean, it's really just for Shadow Punch, but I mean, Iron Fist Shadow Punch just makes your Ghost Stab hit even harder because you're not really a special attacker, so you can't really use Shadow Ball. Yeah, horrible special attacker. But 124, you're hitting hard. You got some good bulk to you. If it's not Iron Fist, what is it? Klutz? Oh, you want Iron Fist. With Klutz, this thing's bad. But with Iron Fist, this thing's good. Very good. But with the other ghost types, like it a lot. Bouffalant. Head charge. Bouffalant. Is it called head charge? Is it called head charge? Let me double check myself. But this thing, so Reckless or Sap Sipper, if you have a Seismitoad and you have a Sap Sipper Bouffalant, you can bait out the grass type attacks and then boost your attack on Bouffalant and be pretty crazy. But realistically, you want Reckless, which is, I think I've never caught a Bouffalant that's not Reckless. This thing's got great bulk. It's got good attack with 110 attack, and Reckless head charge, so strong. And you have Mega Horn stab as well. You're gonna be taking a lot of damage, sure, but like, so you're slow, but you have Revenge to abuse the fact that you're slow, and just head charge just blows things up. Seriously, like Silk Scarf head charge, you give the leftovers or something. This thing's bulky enough that it's okay that it hurts itself. Just don't use it against Marshall. Literally, that's it. And Mega Horn just gives it some coverage to be really good against Elite Four. You get it literally right before Victory Road, before the Elite Four, and for all of the final fights. This thing is great. This thing is so great. It's so good. Was it? Did I use? No, I didn't use this on my last playthrough Elite Four run. I used it on a different one. The second to last time I played it, I remember using this thing with head charge, and it was just like, I was like a kid when I did it too, and I was just like, wow, this thing's great. It's actually really good. It's actually really good. It's super late game though, which just does kind of suck. Heat more, fire type in Victory Road, and you're not using a fire type at this point in the game. It's an emergency fire type, but you're not using a fire type at this point in the game. Just like you're really not. The only two fire types to be using at this point in the game would be Chandelure, who is 145 special attack and also a ghost type. Emboar, who's a fighting type. And Darmanitan, who is very beefy, punches you hard with big attack stat and sheer force and stuff. So that's why I use those fire types. Durant, everything I talked about Excadrill, but it's faster. There you go. It's faster, so that's pretty cool. You can get Hustle too, which is... I don't love Hustle. I do not love Hustle at all. I think you also get Swarm, which Swarm is great. I think those abilities are great. You can just damage your Pokemon beforehand and activate Swarm already. Yeah, Swarm or Hustle. So you can like in the Elite Four, damage your Durant, so it's already in Swarm range, and then go fight something where it's very fast. Yeah, 109 speed. It's super fast. This thing's stats are so good. Yeah, it's definitely an S-tier. Bug Steel's so good. Bug Steel, X-Scissor at that point, literally a level into it. Let it level up once and you get X-Scissor. Otherwise you have Bug Bite. Crunch, Iron Head, you learn Dig, just fine coverage. Entrainment, that's funny. You can get rid of a scary ability if you ever need to. Yeah, this thing's amazing. And because you cannot use Hydreigon because of level cap, Zweilous. You have to keep Eviolite on this thing to make it useful at all. And it's Dark type, which is useful. It's a Dragon type, which is moderately useful, but the real use you get out of this thing is the Dark typing. And I actually remembered, it was not Scrafty I used. It was Zweilous who was my Dark type. It was Zweilous with my Dark type. I just insisted on a Dark type to basically solo Chantal and what was her name? Chantal and Caitlyn. It's basically all I needed to do. I'm pretty sure that's all it did do. I think it died to something. I think I just sacked it in the Getsus fight. Yeah, I just sacked in the Getsus fight. I think yeah. So for like an Elite Four Pokemon, it's usable. It's very usable. I think it's better than Druddigon just because it's Dark type, but I wouldn't put it any higher than this. Yeah, it's usable. And that is the list. I don't think I missed anybody here. Nope, that's going to be it. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you are mad about me low ranking. If it's Amoonguss, I'm not going to listen to you because I covered that. If it's a psychic type, I'm not going to listen to you because I covered that. Now, if you're saying like Reuniclus, I gave it all the love I can give it. Same with Sigilif. I gave them the love I could give them. And if you're telling me that I'm overrating somebody, you know, let me know what you think. Let me know who you think I'm overrating. I'll probably tell you you're wrong because someone's going to tell me that Haxorus is overrated, but you're wrong. This thing is ridiculous. So, anyways, love y'all. Thank y'all for supporting me in these troubling times. Take care, and I'll see you later.